The entire Western hero's journey framework we've relied on to dissect fantasy media for 80 years was built exclusively to tell stories about men and Frieren. Beyond Journeys and just exposed that glaring narrative blind spot in less than one episode of runtime. If you've scrolled YouTube in the last 6 months, you've seen the clips, the quiet, 10-second moment where Frieren stares at a flower her human companion gave her 1,000 years prior, the viral edit set to soft piano of her realizing she never asked Himmel what his favorite food was. The 45-minute deep dives breaking down how the show's treatment of grief is more emotionally honest than 90% of live-action drama. This isn't just a beloved anime, it's a cultural reset for how we tell fantasy stories, and the discourse dominating YouTube right now proves it. Let's start with context for anyone who's slept on this. Frieren follows an elven mage who is part of the 10-year party that defeated the Demon King, a standard heroic quest that wraps up in the show's very first episode. The catch? Elves live for thousands of years, so while the quest felt like a brief, fun adventure to Frieren, her human companions lived full, messy lives, grew old, and died in the decades that followed. The story doesn't pick up mid-quest, or right after the victory. It picks up 1,000 years later, after Frieren has outlived every single member of her party, and is just now grappling with the fact that she barely got to know the people she called her best friends. That narrative choice alone breaks every rule of the traditional hero's journey we've been taught. Joseph Campbell's monomyth, the framework that underpins everything from Star Wars to Lord of the Rings, is built around the hero's arc. The call to adventure, the trials, the victory, the return home changed. The story ends when the hero wins. Frieren flips that on its head. The victory already happened, the hero is long dead, and the protagonist isn't the one who went on the quest. She's the person left behind to clean up the emotional mess the quest left behind. That's the core of why YouTube can't stop talking about the show. For years, anime discourse has been dominated by generic isekai power fantasies, where the hero is summoned to another world, gains absurd powers, defeats the Demon King, and gets a harem. Frieren is the antithesis of that. There's no over-the-top power scaling, no fan service, no shallow romance. Its entire emotional core is rooted in the quiet, unspoken grief of outliving the people you love, and the terror of realizing that the time you spent with them was so much shorter than you thought it was. The YouTube discourse around Frieren splits into two core camps that keep sparking viral debates. The first is the Himmel was a bad friend camp, which analyzes the small, unspoken moments between Frieren and her human party leader to argue that he never bothered to try to understand her elven perspective. And the second is the Frieren is the real villain camp, which points out that her aloofness and refusal to open up to her friends meant she missed out on knowing them as people, not just
quest companions.
These debates aren't just fan drama. They're proof that the show's writing is complex enough to support multiple valid, nuanced readings, something almost no other fantasy anime manages to pull off. But the biggest reason Frieren is dominating YouTube right now is that it's filling a void no other anime has touched. It's a story about grief for people who don't see their own experiences reflected in mainstream media. So many of us have lost someone we loved, and struggled with the guilt of not saying the things we wanted to say, of not spending enough time with them, of realizing too late that the little moments were the ones that mattered most. Frieren doesn't give you a cheap, happy ending where the dead come back to life, or the protagonist gets a magic reset button. It gives you the messy, realistic truth that grief doesn't go away, you just learn to carry it with you. That's why clips of the show go viral every week, why new analysis videos get millions of views, why fan edits of Frieren and her apprentice Fern get shared across every anime community on the platform. It's not just a good anime. It's a cultural touchstone that's changing how we think about fantasy storytelling, grief, and the stories we choose to tell. If you want more deep dives into the anime, manga, and media shaping internet culture right now, hit like, subscribe to Lizzie's Pillow, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next breakdown of the Frieren manga ending that's already breaking the internet.